Today we're heading to one of the most peaceful corners of the Pacific Northwest to hike the May Valley Loop Trail, tucked away in a quiet nature preserve outside the city of Issaquah, Washington. This wooded park is laced with miles of winding paths that follow rushing creeks and narrow ravines. Our 4-mile route climbs the southern slope of Squak Mountain, rising to 2,024 feet along Bullet Creek up to Central Peak, then loops back down to the trailhead in Squak Mountain State Park. The name Issaquah Alps, unofficial but widely used, was first coined in 1977 by noted naturalist Harvey Manning in his trail guide. The name of the mountain, Squak, comes from Squashkir, a place name in the nearly extinct southern Lushutsi dialect, which also gave rise to the name Issaquah. Coal was discovered on the mountain in 1859, leading to the area's first commercial coal mine. Ironically, the very hazards left behind by those abandoned mines helped prevent future development, leaving Squak Mountain wild and untouched for us to enjoy today. We walk the trail in silence, as if gliding above the earth, our eyes narrow whether from the sun or the joy it's hard to tell. Even the wind holds its breath. Not a single leaf moves. It may seem like we're alone out here, but we're not. Life surrounds us, woven into the trees, the air, the earth. Birds call in bright, tangled melodies. Insects buzz with quiet intent. Frogs croak loud and sudden, and now and then, a piercing cry from above a raptor's call. Somewhere high overhead, an eagle might be circling the sky. Hikers have spotted deer here, and sometimes even bears. We're just visitors in this untamed world, a place that lives by its own ancient rhythm. It lets us in for a while, to observe, to rest, to find inspiration. All along the trail, we pass dense patches of ferns plants that first appeared on Earth around 400 million years ago, roughly the same time as insects. It's easy to imagine being a dinosaur, wandering through forests of ferns with trunks towering nearly 50 feet tall and up to 6.5 feet thick. In parts of Australia, ancient tree fern forests like these still survive. At the other extreme, the world's smallest fern, Azolla cristata, grows in water and usually reaches just 0.2 to 0.6 inches in size. Ferns grow on every continent except Antarctica, though millions of years ago, when the climate was warmer, they grew there too. Most of us think we know ferns pretty well, but did you know that besides not blooming, they reproduce through spores? Ferns don't actually have true leaves. What we usually think of as leaves are called fronds, or vai. A frond isn't really a leaf at all. It's a branch that keeps growing outward and forward. Each one is broad and flat, built to soak up as much sunlight as possible for photosynthesis. A fallen tree lies across our path. It's only when one of these giants is at your feet, not stretching high above, that you really grasp its power and beauty. The elegant lines, the towering height, the sheer strength, and the surprising flexibility of living wood. Twist by twist, the trail coils ahead like a snake darting forward, teasing us with flashes of sunlight through the trees. Birds call from the branches, and the path seems to whisper promises of new sights, fresh moments, and unexpected wonder. For centuries, humans have built bridges to overcome nature's obstacles, to keep going, to stay connected. A bridge is support, a lifeline, but it's also a symbol of crossing over, of transformation. In many ways, it mirrors our walk today, a quiet passage back to something essential, something grounding. Nature. We're moving from one side of life to the other, from the fast, anxious rush of daily demands to something slower, steadier, a place where stillness holds wisdom and simplicity reveals the deeper order of things. And yet, the slender wooden bridge behind us serves as a quiet reminder. Our bond with nature is fragile, and if we're not careful, it's a connection we could lose. Our walk through this dreamy summer forest feels like an ode to the color green. Lime, olive, emerald, khaki, copper, pistachio, moss, seafoam, How many shades blend together on nature's canvas? The Latin word viridis, meaning green, belongs to a rich family of words tied to growth, flourishing even life itself. In art, green has long stood for elegance and refinement. Soft gray green was beloved by the Art Deco movement. Molière had a passion for the color. Goethe held a special fondness for it too, calling it calming and ideal for places of rest in his famous theory of colors. Legend has it green was Napoleon's favorite as well. And in America, it was George Washington who helped make green fashionable at Mount Vernon, his family estate. Several rooms were painted in varying shades of green. Harmony, peace, balance, vitality, and growth. These are the qualities green is known for. In psychology, it also symbolizes safety. Think about it. Green is the signal that tells us it's safe to go. Green is born from yellow and blue, the colors of the sun and the sky, one bursting with energy, the other full of calm. Isn't it incredible that on this walk, we see nature itself bringing color theory to life? There's a calm, sheltered stillness beneath the old, towering firs thick with moss and ferns, letting in only measured beams of daylight. These quiet pockets give way to bright, airy groves of young maples and hazelnut trees, where slender branches twist and tangle so playfully, even the sunbeams seem to get lost in the maze. Sometimes the trail shrinks to a narrow thread, and we're suddenly surrounded, embraced by a surge of rich, untamed greenery. Suddenly, the steady rhythm of light and shadow gives way to a strip of gray pavement. a sharp reminder of the world beyond, the rush, the noise, the endless to-do lists we left behind. But we keep moving forward. Sunlit branches arch overhead, and thick, leafy shrubs rise on either side, turning the trail into a green tunnel. We slip into the cool, mysterious dark and drift toward the light like moths chasing a flame. Just ahead, a natural sculpture leans over the trail, a hunched, half-decayed stump blanketed in moss and pierced with dozens of insect tunnels. If you look closely, you can trace the life story of a single tree. Once, as a young sapling, it carved out its place in the sun, growing tall, strong, and flexible. Then, something changed. Maybe another tree fell and pinned it down, forcing it to bend under the weight but never snap. Or maybe disease or damage took out the crown. But one branch rose to the challenge and took over. Stubborn and resilient, the tree kept climbing. It twisted. It paused, but never gave up its reach for the light. Judging by the thick, weathered trunk, it made it. This tree lived long and well, all the way into old age. We spot the quiet marks of time's slow, steady work, old trees lining the path, stripped of their bark, glowing with the stark whiteness of age. But here, in nature's calm and knowing kingdom, it doesn't feel like a loss, just the natural course of things. We float forward, gently rocked by the calm and balance all around us. Sometimes it feels like we're dreaming lost in a vision of some distant, sun-drenched place. The sunlit ferns start to resemble palm tops, and the warm ochre ground underfoot could almost pass for desert sand. On the left, perched at the edge of a steep drop, a young, agile tree has rooted itself into the remains of an old stump. With that fragile grip, it stretched its long, slender branches wide. Life doesn't pause. From the ruins of the old, something new always finds a way to rise. The trail presents us with a choice. We can keep moving forward, or we can take a sharp turn to the right and head steeply uphill. What would you choose? It's breathtaking. This place feels like a forgotten temple, suspended in time. Anyone who stands here, looks up, and takes it all in might feel like a true discoverer. The trees stretch so high they disappear into the sky like ancient pillars that have stood for ages. Their bark is etched with patterns so intricate, it feels like nature's own sculpture, hard to look away from. Or maybe it's the other way around. Perhaps nature's artistry is what first taught us to create. Up ahead on the left, something shimmers in the sunlight. At first glance, it's just an old stump, bathed in a warm glow. In an instant, it transforms into a proud medieval castle, clinging to a sheer cliff, its towers reaching skyward. Yet as we draw near, the mirage dissolves, and the grand fortress reveals itself as little more than crumbling ruins. Weather-beaten and sun-bleached, the brittle twigs of conifers form an astonishing web, an elaborate tangle that begs to be explored. Jumping from twig to twig, the gaze soars skyward, and it never comes back down. We stand beneath the giant umbrella of a conifer tree. The leafy crowns cluster into gilded green clouds. The sky seems to radiate every hue of the world: playful yellow, soft pink, dreamy blue. We are like tiny pilgrims in the majestic temple of nature. Here, the heavenly song of birds always resounds, and you can hear each individual voice. Your soul grows warm and serene. Your heart feels joyful and light. You long to believe and to dream, and to carry on the journey.